You don't know what you mean to me, how you've helped me be a better podcaster. I wish you knew how many hours I spent listening to you in the fucking car, driving on the 405. And I always tell people, my expression is, you have to have the patience of Eddie Trunk. I remember telling Florentine that for the first time, and he died of laughter. I go, nobody has the patience of Eddie Trunk. He handles the heavy metal guys with gloves like I've never fucking seen. When they call you, that is the funniest calls, and they always have a southern accent. You always get a redneck that calls you and say, hey, Eddie, man, there used to be this band called Speed Trap in 19, and you would fucking, I remember them. They put out a small album. I don't know why they couldn't, you know, like you just fucking know everything, but it's always rednecks that call you. It's never like a guy from Jersey going, hey, Eddie, what the fuck is going on here? It's always
I get those too.
I get those. I listen to those.
I mean, that's the cool thing about doing a live daily radio show that's a national broadcast is, you know, you're going to get, and I'm very aware of that. You know, you can get people in New York or LA, you're going to get people in Arkansas and Oklahoma, and everybody's going to have a different view and a different feeling about stuff and be in different situations. So I try to give everybody equal time and a shot. And then we got the Canadians that call in because Sirius XM's on in Canada too. So you get them, and they're always the nicest people in the world. So you learn everybody's thing based on where they're from.
I would sit there and listen to you, and it was the same thing with Florentine. I met Florentine in 97. To me, he was just Jim Florentine. I liked him because he lived in Weehawken at the time. And I'm a Hudson County boy, so we became kind of friends. We reacquainted ourselves over the 2000s, little by little. Jimmy, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'd see him in L.A. On Sundays, my daughter would go to church with my wife, and I would have this time in the mornings, and it would be you and Jimmy, and I would listen to Jimmy. And one day he's describing an Iron Maiden concert in Asbury Park. It was Judas Priest, and Iron Maiden was opening up for them.
I was there.
July of 81, probably.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. Like, I have been here 8 months now, and I have not gone to Asbury Park. And I will tell you why. I hear it's beautiful, but last time I went to Asbury Park, we got out of the car, we closed the doors. It was a Z28. We didn't even turn around, and some guy threw a bottle at us. And it was Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, and that's when Jimmy Florentine lit the smoke bomb. I was going to a couple heavy metal concerts, and I kept realizing that somebody kept lighting fucking smoke bombs at these heavy metal concerts. And one Sunday I'm driving, and it's Jimmy telling the story about Iron Maiden when he lit the fucking smoke bomb, and they caught him, and his mother had to go get him, and his eyes were red. So his mother asked him, you know, he was stoned. And I've heard your stories about concerts, and I mean, we all grew up in Jersey. We're all about the same age. We all went to the same fucking concerts. And here you are on the East Coast, and I'm on the West Coast, and I'm like, I can't wait to meet this fucking guy because he knows everything about music.
I appreciate it.
No,
well,
you do.
And, you know, and that's why when we met for the first time just recently when I came to your comedy show at Uncle Vinny's a couple, 2-3 months ago, I mean, you know, people like us, we're from the same area, like you said, around the same age, the same things. It's weird, I find, like, even though that was the first time I was really meeting you, I felt like I knew you forever. Because
me too. It was amazing.
That's how it is when you're, you know, kind of cut from the same cloth and come from the same world.
We're probably in the same line waiting for concerts. I used to go to Hole in the Wall. I used to go to the Bubble Factory, the Soap Factory, to see. I saw Aerosmith at the Soap Factory. Fucking Aerosmith. No Joe Perry. No Brad Whitford. Yeah, terrible. Yeah. They were horrible. It was a nightmare. I used to go. I never saw Bon Jovi in Jersey, but I saw the Good Rats, all those old Jersey bands. You know, Sticky Fingers. They were all like cover bands.
Joey, how old are you?
58. So
you got 2 years on me, and that's a big 2 years because you caught that period of time where before the drinking age changed.
Yeah.
Because for me, every time all my friends were a couple years older than me, and it was always like they were always like, "Would you hurry up and be 18 so you can get in the clubs?" And then Jersey moved it to 19, then to 20, then 21. Every time I got a year from close to the drinking age, they moved it a year later. So I didn't get to go. Like, I remember going down to the Jersey Shore. I mean, I still got a place down in Ortley, and I walked the Seaside Heights Boardwalk, and that's where I won all these records as a kid. And I remember there was a bar on the boardwalk called the Chatterbox.
The Chatterbox.
And I used to stand outside of that bar as a kid and just listen, because they always had the door open to the band playing, and like dream of what it would be like to be in there and actually be at the bar watching the band. They kept moving the drinking age a year later on me until finally, you know, I hit 21. But if you were able to catch, it sounds like a little bit of that tail end of the Jersey club scene too.
I caught the tail end. I went to CBGB's as a fucking 13-year-old because Jersey didn't have pictures on your license.
Right.
So if Eddie Trunk had a brother named Mikey Trunk, me and Eddie were fucking criminals. We stole Mikey Trunk's ID.
Right.
So they had no paper. They had no picture on him. And the only thing the guy would ask you is what your sign is. Like if you look a little young, they would go, "What sign are you?" That's how they would fuck with you. There was no paper. They couldn't prove it that it wasn't you. So I still remember going to see a buddy of mine took me to see the Police at CBGB's. And, you know, nobody knew nothing. Nobody said anything. You know, it was like accepted. So that's the only way I got in to go see those bands that young, was because of fake IDs from Jersey.
Yeah, I couldn't do the bars and the clubs because I was just missing that. Like, I missed the whole Twisted Sister thing when they were so big in the clubs, and I missed all that because I was just too young. But what I did do was I would go to a lot of shows that were happening like in theaters and stuff where you didn't have to be drinking age. So I saw Metallica with Mustaine still in the band open for the Rods and Vandenberg.
Wow.
Kirk Hammett's first show with Metallica was at a place that is only about 10 minutes from where I live now in Dover, at a place called the Show Place. And I saw all kinds of metal shows there. And Kirk's first show with the band, I was at that, and that was there as well. Interestingly, it just went up for sale. Kirk should buy it just for the history he has there. But it's, so I would always go to shows like that until I was legal drinking age and get into the club.